I heard you missed us. We're back. Welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show and good now, revolutionaries. My name is Evan and I am so glad to be back here with you on this fine Wednesday in March. Bitcoin is again at a new all-time high. What are we even doing here? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it. Alex is going to be on shortly. We're going to go through some news headlines. We're going to talk about some changes to the show and how you can get involved in our community. We've tried to make it easy for you the last couple days, and I think we've kind of got it figured out. So excited to share more with you. For now, go ahead, say hi down below. Let us know if you've got a question about crypto or blockchain because we want to help you feel like you know what's going on here. We would like to know what's going on here. And all of us will, as we say, rise up together. If you are a longtime listener, watcher of the show, whether you're watching live on TikTok or on YouTube, let me first say thank you so much. There are lots of things you can do with your time, your attention, your most valuable asset, and you choose to spend it here. We love that and we appreciate it so much. Now, we've made it so much easier for you to stay up to date with the Rise Up Morning Show. In my bio, in Alex's bio, and at the Rise Up, is it the riseupmorningshow.com? I think it is. It's new to me. We have a sign up where you can, with one click, get our newsletter every week. It's going to have the best bullet points from this show. It's going to have all the cool exclusive deals and offers we're trying to get with sponsors that will benefit you. It'll be the easiest place to find all the links affiliated with our community, and now it's in my bio. We will be using the email newsletter to distribute this week's secret word for POAPs. So a little incentive there. Please do sign up. I promise it's not going to be one of those junky newsletters that's going to clutter up your inbox. We would never do that to you. It's going to be fun. It's going to be cool. Bullet points of the best stuff from the week. And we're really excited about it. The first of a couple of changes that will make this show better for all of us. And in the meantime, I do want to say that we are continuing to work on those things. So if you have products, services, sponsors that you love that you think would be a good fit for this show, please send them our way. The best way to do that is going to be at riseup@facelesslabs.io, or you can jump in the Discord. But for now, just go ahead and sign up for that newsletter. It's at the link in the bio, and we'll get it rolling. Let me know what kind of a week you've had. Let me know how you've been doing. We have had an up and down week at my house over here. I'll tell you about it in a minute. We've had a mostly up week in the crypto markets. And we're at that point where people are starting to question, whoa, what's going on? Is this going to be a temporary top? Are we going up all the way through the halving? Our friend Mihir was telling us the other day that Drake, the world's biggest male pop star, has again started to tweet Bitcoin memes. When Taylor Swift does it, I think that's a for sure top signal. But for now, it seems like people are happy. And I'm so glad you're here. But it also seems like a lot of people have questions. I know if you've seen Alex's videos lately, you've sensed our tone that there's a lot of unhelpful information going around, as there often is, when the crypto market is hot. And so we want to do our part to help people stay up to date and catch everything that's going on. I'm so sorry. I was just checking on Alex. He's letting his dogs out. I see my friend Dave here. Hey, Dave. How's it going? Dave, brother, sign up for that newsletter. It's the link in the bio there. That's how we're going to do POAPs this week. And I think we're going to be able to do a lot of cool, fun stuff there too. I'd obviously love your feedback on it. That's going to go out at the end of the week when the episodes go up. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube in the future, then you should sign up too. The link is below, or you can go to theriseupmorningshow.com and sign up there. We tried to make it really easy. I know a lot of people struggle with Discord, and so we'll have the Discord link there. We'll have everything in the newsletter, but it's just so much easier. You got one click now. One click. That's it. One click. So how's everybody doing? Let me know. Did you miss the show? I missed the show. But let me tell you what. I needed a break. I caught up a little bit on sleep. We got this newsletter rolling. We integrated some other stuff on the back end, and I've just had an up and down couple of days. So it's good to have the show back. Alex and I were just saying, he sent me a message this morning and was telling me, man, it's great to be back. I'm excited to be back on the show. And I said, me too, man, me too. Speaking of people I know and love. Hey man, what's going on?
What's up, dude?
Man, I'm all right. I'm kind of mumbling and fumbling my way through the morning because I was just missing you, man. I didn't have you here.
It's
So
good to
the first
good to be back.
7 minutes there might be painful for anybody to watch on YouTube, but I had Dave, Jim got here. Folks were keeping me company while we waited. I didn't want to get into anything too much until you arrived, man.
It's all good. I've been sitting here for over an hour, like ready to go, and then as soon as the top of the hour rolls around, Phoebe's like, "Well, now is my time to shine." She's been politely sitting there, like chewing on a bone all morning, and then
And now she's got stuff to say, man. Stuff to pee on, stuff to sniff. I get it.
anyway.
Well, Well, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being here. I just posted to our friends in the Discord, and I was just letting everybody here know that we're glad to be back. That our ask for you today, if you want more of the Rise Up Morning Show, you can join us every day, Monday through Thursday. We're here 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and now we have made it easier than ever for you to catch up with the show in my profile, in Alex's profile, and at theriseupmorningshow.com. You can sign up for the email newsletter. It's right there in our bio. It's one click. It's got all the links to YouTube, to our Discord community, to the coffee mugs that you can buy. Anything you want to know about the Rise Up Morning Show is going to be in a once weekly newsletter. So brief, so valuable, so free, baby. We're talking about ways to make it better all the time. So that's where to go. That's where the feedback is. And we just appreciate you guys so much. We wanted to make it easy. Of course, you can still join the Discord. But I was telling everyone that POAPs this week will be distributed via secret word in the newsletter. So if you want a free NFT, if you want a POAP to commemorate this week's edition of the show, then please do sign up for the newsletter now. My bio, Alex's bio, theriseupmorningshow.com. And I won't spend any more time doing commercials. I say these people have waited long enough. We got a show to do. Is Kagan joining us today, or is that a tomorrow show?
Tomorrow, he'll be here tomorrow morning.
You had to check the watch about it.
I check to see what day of the week it was.
No, I get it. That's going to be exciting. Our friend Magic Internet Money is worth your attention, worth a follow.
Yeah.
Does awesome technical analysis and has been doing it for a minute here on TikTok. I highly encourage you to check him out. And what better way to do it than by tuning in again tomorrow? We'll talk to him, and we'll be able to ask him some questions. And I'm sure he'll pull up some charts. I hope he will.
We'll see. Yeah, he hasn't been doing TikTok in ages. He's all on YouTube right now. But if you've been around, I mean, all through the last bull market, he was pretty heavily on TikTok, and I think he's consolidated and just does YouTube now. But I mean, as far as technical analysts go, I think he's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Big Bitcoin guy. I think he trades pretty indiscriminately across a whole bunch of other stuff too. I know he's got a ton of shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be good to get him on. It's been a while since we've streamed with him.
Indiscriminate and pretty well set in terms of emotionless. A lot of people are here for the hype, and he's just here to make a trade, man. Is it a good trade? I'll take it. Great philosophy, someone to learn from, and someone to aspire to. When I see some people's technical analysis, I am like, what?
Yeah.
And it's an example, absolutely.
Well, I mean, this isn't just like, oh, this looks vaguely like a cup. It's
Like those abstract paintings in a museum where you're like, I could do this.
Next, there's one of my favorite people on Twitter is this shit poster from the Cardano community that I don't know. I've just been going back and forth in comments for 2 years now with, and he does some pretty hilarious TA. You know, he finds the obscure zoo animals in the charts and points out like you know what animal they're likely to morph into. It's pretty funny. Like as you can see here, you know the chubby turtle pattern. Typically, we see this morph into the baby piglet pattern, or I don't know. You know,
That's wild, man. Well, in terms of, I honestly am a little, I am a little distracted. I'm a little frazzled. We've had a long couple days here.
yeah, you've had your fair share of.
I've had like 3 Saturday nights and probably 3 Monday mornings worth of stuff. We woke up yesterday and I said to Kimberly, she was getting ready to go on a run, and I looked out into the driveway. I said, "Your car is gone." I said, "I think your car has been stolen," and I was right. So, you know, send thoughts, prayers for our sweet little Kia Soul to return home, and for also a miracle to happen with my truck. Or, you know, maybe just the Elizabeth Warren meme coin, send it to the moon, and then I can buy us both new cars. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Right.
So I'm a little distracted by that, but I feel like last week we were talking about what to do with our temporary time today and tomorrow. And I know there was something, and I thought it had to do with, I know we have Kagan, we're talking about trading. I feel like it had more to do with, since we were in the meme coin casino last week, we were talking about executing trades, liquidity. I feel like it was something in that vein. Do you remember? I was like, oh, yes, but no.
I was here. Let me we're gonna get up to a thing that I will clip out and make into its own little explanation. So the liquidity video got a lot of questions, and there's a couple ways that it can expand.
Yes.
Just because obviously I didn't go into 100% of the detail. There, some people brought up some good points about mentioning locked liquidity, what that means, and then there was also one misconception that kind of came out. So I didn't think to distinguish this.
Okay.
But it's a good point. So some people were asking about, how is this all of the liquidity for a big project like that? Like, some of the bigger memes. And I realized that I never specifically said when I was looking at the Uniswap V3 wrapped ETH and Pepe pool, that's not like all of Pepe's liquidity. That is the liquidity in that one specific pool.
Yeah.
And so that's, I actually don't know off the top of my head if there is, there's gotta be some dashboard. Maybe I can dig around and see if we can find one, but some dashboard that aggregates all of the on-chain liquidity across every pool. But I feel like that would be really hard to do accurately, just because those pools especially for the smaller things, kind of come up and go down often. I
feel like DeFi Llama, doesn't DeFi Llama do something like that? Or
but I think my point was you might be able to come close to finding that for some of the bigger stuff on DeFi Llama or on something like that, when you look at total on-chain analytics for some kind of project, but especially when you're talking about the really teeny things where looking at liquidity is super important. I mean, some of these things were so small that I saw them come across the new pairs and I was like, yeah, that name has meme runny potential. And you'd pull it up and find the token and do the quick check to make sure it's not a honeypot. And then by the time you've done all that, it's already rugged, So if that's how fast these things are rugging, there's no hope that any of these big dashboards are going to be able to keep up. I mean, some of these things literally have a lifespan of 8 to 10 minutes,
And let me tell you, they are rugged fast. After I don't know who was it who shared the Elizabeth Warren meme coin in our chat. I saw that and I was like, wow, that's a meme if I've ever seen one. And then Senator Warren tweeted about it because it includes a profanity of her name that I'm pretty sure I can't say on TikTok. But you can Google it. And I was like, wow, talk about a perfect storm. And I think I had like $40, allocated to it from my little, gambling bag. And it did something, and then it went down. It was like I had time to blink and it was done. And I am emotionally tied to it and just sure the meme is going to come back. So I'm like sitting here like, well, I missed my moment.
Yep.
Now I just got to ride it out.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean that's a valuable lesson, right? Don't be married to the bag.
No, don't be married to the bag. I don't. I'm just did a quick Google search for this to see if there is somebody who's updated it. And I don't know that there is a really good one that does what you say, especially for smaller cap stuff. Um, there are obviously plenty of people who are building liquidity aggregators. I'm sure some of them are great, but that's a hot product right now. I'll tell you what I've been looking into in terms of well, we can talk about it in a minute. I'd like to hear more about some of the other questions. I know when you posted that video the other day on liquidity, you got a lot of really good questions, and I feel like if folks are asking a question on your video, then it might be a great place to discuss them here too. What are some of the other things that you're seeing people ask? And of course, for folks in our audience, what are some questions that you are still wrestling with that are holding you back from feeling confident about moving through the crypto space? Let us know and we'll get to them. But Alex, what are you seeing, man?
Well, another one of the questions that came in was about locked liquidity and what that means and what the difference is, because not every token's liquidity is locked, but typically you'll see it for the big ones, the ones that are trying to be more serious. So like when we're looking at the page for Pepe, I'm going to apologize ahead of time, just because as Evan, I don't know if you guys get this in your neck of the woods, but right now is the season where you need to leaf blow your driveway and your cars and your porch like once a day from the amount of pollen that is coming down.
Oh yeah.
And so everyone in my house is just like allergy central. I feel like I got hit by a truck and I'm sneezing about 4,000 times a day. So I'm doing my best to keep it together, but it's bad right now. It's really bad.
I'm with you, man.
Anyway, locked liquidity is pretty simple. I didn't mention it in the video just because I wasn't thinking about it, but basically the difference there is kind of like how when we have looked through the blockchain explorer and you've noticed that on one of those addresses in the holders registry for any particular project or currency, some of them have a little contract next to it, lets you know that wallet is under a smart contract, so it's not necessarily it's not just a single person's private wallet. There are rules that govern that wallet. Oh my god, dude. Same thing for locked liquidity. It means that a smart contract governs the liquidity pool so that it is partially or completely locked, so that the money cannot trade in and out of it outside of the confines of a certain time. And that if there are like liquidity providers or market makers providing liquidity there, they may be confined by time parameters or some other confines of the smart contract. These are all things you can look up if you want to dig into the contract specifically. That would be able to be found from an explorer. But the TLDR is that if you see the padlock on the liquidity, it means it is like a little bit safer. One more step has been taken to legitimize the project, but it is certainly not a guarantee of anything. It just means it is that much harder for it to be a total rug.
Yeah.
Of course, crazy things are still possible. It's not like you see the lock and you're like, okay, time to bet the house. This thing can't go to zero. It absolutely can. But that's what that means. Someone has taken one more step to try to make it a little bit more serious.
And that's noteworthy too. Like, there are a lot of things I'm encountering people asking about or learning that are things I have seen a lot, but are not necessarily apparent unless you know to look for them, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of, I've been having a lot of conversations with my dad lately because he's starting to navigate the crypto space. And he was saying the other day, what I'm really looking for right now are tokens that fit narratives. And I said, oh, yeah. And he said, yeah, like blockchain gaming or artificial intelligence. And I said, yeah, I said, those are big narratives right now. And, and it's, um, just all the different questions that people are asking. He was asking me a lot about liquidity. He was asking me a lot about how to spot something um, as legitimate or not. And I had to talk to him about, blockchain scanners, had to talk to him about, how easy it is to spin up a token, all this stuff that we kind of have been going over. And I do want to say, if some of this is, if these are questions that you have, last week was a really strong week. And this week's newsletter, I think we will absolutely have to include a couple of those tools. We'll maybe do a little link to a bit about blockchain explorers. And Alex and I were talking about using our time on Friday to record some shorter form content. Let us know if that would be helpful, to do a shorter dive on something like blockchain explorers or Dex tools, a platform where you can look up tokens, verify contracts, check their liquidity. I think that might be a good topic for one of our short form videos too, or
Yeah,
medium form YouTube videos. Um, yeah, pollen, man. Let me tell you
dude.
what, it's happening over here too, and I wasn't feeling it until you said something about it, and now I'm like, you know,
Yep.
um,
Like it, I mean, if you don't live in this part of the country, you might think I'm exaggerating about the leaf blower, but I'm 100% not. You literally have to take your leaf blower and just keep stuff clear. I mean,
yeah.
park your
If you
car
leave a
outside.
car outside, it will be a different color, like
Yeah,
in the morning. Speaking
dude,
of
in
which,
like an hour.
yeah, I actually need to. I was before Kim's car ran away. I was painting a replacement bumper for it, and I need to take it inside because I bet it's gonna get pollinated. Um, Alex, I wonder if now is a good time. I wanted to ask you about a headline I saw that I don't know anything about, um, but that I thought was interesting. This is on Crypto Panic. Coinbase is raising $1 billion with convertible notes as Bitcoin soars. Um, and I was just really curious about that. Um, I also was curious about this other headline I saw that the Grayscale ETF is facing record withdrawals. Um, or excuse me, the Bitcoin Fund, um, which I don't believe is the ETF. Um,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, I
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, obviously we're at the all-time high right now. I mean, as of right this minute, it's still up. Not only did we hit the all-time high, but we stayed there, um, which is pretty wild. I think it really, really kind of speaks to a little bit of the difference in vibe that we're dealing with right now. I mean, we're north of $73,000 right now, and it's like it's still there. So that kind of paints a pretty good picture, I think, of like what the pressure from the ETFs, even just so far, is really doing. And I don't know. I mean, I certainly wouldn't stand here and like try to make a prediction or anything, but it's really making me think, dude. Just because this is so atypical. I mean, I've been saying for years that like we don't have enough data to make real price predictions. So anybody who does is literally just pulling something right out of their ass. The only legitimate predictions you can make are that, like, you know, in general during the bull market, generally things go up and then they generally crash. But like you said, there's really no rhyme or reason to determine when something's just not going to go. Let me see if I can find like a glaring example right now. I mean, Okay, so yeah, it's a little indiscriminate, right? It is not exclusively just like the big stuff all goes up together and it all comes down together. Typically, on a red day, stuff is down, and on a green day, stuff is up. But like in the last 24 hours, just in the top 10, there's some pretty major discrepancies, right? BNB has really had a day. It's up 13%, and that's a
Yeah.
$91.5
And
billion
just a
dollar.
couple days ago, I feel like it was in the 400s, and it's almost $600 again now. We're really we're at or near all time highs for almost everything in that group.
Yeah, except for XRP, which hasn't done anything.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Sorry. What's really funny if you look at the chart right now, even USDC has a green 0.0%, and XRP is just down by 0.1%.
That's
You're,
hilarious.
you're
Um,
printing way better gains holding a stable coin.
yeah, and you look at something like I think Cardano has shown like a lack of enthusiasm. There are several tokens there that I'm like, huh, do something. But then others are having a moment.
People still hold it. Yep. I mean, that's one of those. The people who hold it are very passionate. If the lesson is don't get married to the bag, the XRP army has failed miserable. They are absolutely not the only ones, but they are a dedicated bunch.
Yeah. So, well, that's why I wanted to ask you about this. So okay. So Coinbase is doing what MicroStrategy just did. If you don't know, MicroStrategy is like the number one, Bitcoin focused investment fund headed by Michael Saylor. Coinbase, the most notorious company in the crypto industry, and they have both released the sale of these. I don't know how it's going for MicroStrategy, if they just announced it or if they launched this sale, but they're selling these convertible bonds, which is a way for them to raise more equity, mostly from institutional investors. And they have said they'll sell $1 billion worth of these with an extra of like 150 million if there's demand for it. Um, and I feel like it's interesting to me because, okay, if Bitcoin does well, Coinbase does well. If Bitcoin does well, MicroStrategy does well. Both of them are big holders. But this is like, Coinbase's way of saying their stock price has gone up, Bitcoin has gone up. This is just like another tool that somebody might use the same way any investor would diversify. They are diversifying the ways they are asking people for money, and they are asking people for a lot of money.
Mhm.
Um, and and of course they're hot to invest in right now. Um, but I am curious about, uh, you know, what are they going to do? Obviously, they're going to build their empires. Obviously, they're going to buy more Bitcoin and crypto and stuff like that. Um, it makes me glad that Coinbase is here, but it always makes me a little bit concerned when I see, the the way that they are working to gain power to centralize their power, to entrench their power. Um, and I mentioned that the Grayscale. This is the GBTC. This is their trust.
Right.
Um, has sold. People have sold $10.6 billion. They have withdrawn. Um, this is. I just want to contextualize this for people. In the last 15 years, this is according to Coin Paprika. This is the largest outflow in the ETF world. Um, only an iShares Emerging Markets Fund saw about a $12.3 billion loss a while ago. Um, this is like a. I'm trying to wade through all the technical speak to find a glimmer of gold for you. Essentially, people are moving their money from gold to Bitcoin, from other baskets of assets to Bitcoin. Um, and they're moving even out of some Bitcoin ETFs into others. Grayscale has launched like a lower fund version, a lower fee version, um, but like there's no sign in slowing in terms of how people are moving their money into ETFs. The estimate I heard from, I don't remember who it was, somebody at Coinbase was like, we'll be happy if we see, $15 billion of ETF inflow, which I thought was a high number. And we have already eclipsed 14 billion. And it's been what, a couple of weeks? Um,
Just yesterday alone was 1 billion of inflow, and we have crossed 15 billion officially as of midnight.
so like just to see, I guess what I'm trying to say is like the volume is unprecedented. The Bitcoin ETF is unprecedented, but the volume is unprecedented even for like traditional financial measures. Uh, People are moving to continue to capture interest and offer people additional ways to invest. And I wonder, I don't know, what I'm worried about is the centralization of power at the center of it. The people who are holding the Bitcoin you're buying or benefiting from it, and I'm also a little bit worried about just the pace at which it's happening. I know there's
Yeah.
plenty of capital in the market, and I know that money is mostly made up. Um, but, it makes me wonder how sustainable it's going to be. And now, as we're approaching the halving with this kind of frenzy, um, I don't know. Like you say, we don't have enough data, but I'm kind of expecting the roller coaster to get really, really wild. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and just
I
hoping
mean,
it doesn't hurt our industry. I hope it doesn't mean that everybody in retail leaves and only MicroStrategy and Coinbase are left and they're just holding the whole bag. That's where I'm trying to go with this. I'm sorry to be so scattered about it, but um, I could see that kind of storm coalescing.
um,
No, you're
there's a
fine.
Majestic in the comments is asking about Boeing. Just for context, are you unaware of all of the Boeing drama, Majestic? Because it makes perfect sense. The stock deserves to be way lower than 4.2%.
I
That
personally am unaware of the Boeing drama. So do you have enough to fill me in?
Okay. So if you're not unaware of the Boeing drama, then the stock being down is not forced or framed. It probably has to do with the fact that the company is grossly losing the faith of everyone who's aware of it. Um, in a nutshell, there was a whistleblower. He's been active for quite some time. I mean, I'm sure that someone is shorting the stock. It would be insane if no one was shorting the stock, dude. Like they just probably offed a guy to keep him quiet. Yeah.
What?
So
Whoa.
there's a whistleblower for Boeing. This content is all over the place, but if you just Google Boeing drama, you will get all of it. The long story short is that there was a whistleblower, a guy who worked for Boeing, I think in the QA department for a long time. QA are the final people who see an aircraft before it is like stamped done and ready. So the mechanics will do the work, and then QA will come in and make sure that they didn't screw it up. They'll be the second pair of eyes. It stands for quality assurance, and then they will, make sure it's good to go, and they'll put their stamp of approval on it. And once QA has stamped something, it's done being inspected. It's good to go. So as far as like someone who can testify to the sanctity or the quality of maintenance and inspections being done at a company, the QA guy is a pretty good one to make that call. And he was just calling out all sorts of really shoddy practices, really sketchy things about corners that were being cut to meet manufacturing deadlines, to meet maintenance deadlines, using parts they knew would fail inspection, riding the line as much as they could. This is a thing that is done in aviation maintenance a lot, and hate to break it to you, I'm not trying to scare you out of flying, but like it's kind of common knowledge, especially if you work in the industry, that we ride tolerances a lot. So if you have like a frame for when something is going to be out of tolerance and you're getting close to it, more likely than not, it's not going to get replaced until you are at the limit, unless you have a really proactive maintenance department. But these giant companies, they're not interested in catching the one anomaly. They're interested in their bottom line. So anyway, this dude was deposed by Boeing's lawyers. And if you are unaware, in a deposition, it's when council gets a chance to ask you a bunch of shit to sort of like see what you know, like what are you bringing to the table with regards to the loss. He's been suing Boeing for ages, this guy. Anyway, he just killed himself right after the deposition.
Interesting.
Deemed self-inflicted, and there's not a person on earth that believes that that's the case. The guy's been into it for years. His story's been corroborated. He's not the only one who's ever said it. But now he's gone. So, you know, you needed an excuse not to fly on a Boeing and to wait for an Airbus or something. There you go.
Very interesting. Very interesting. That was a tale worthy of my morning tea.
Yep. So, I mean, it's no surprise that people are shorting the stock and that the price is down. I would expect it to continue. But, you know, who knows? It's very, very sketchy.
Golly. Well, the comments are going wild about it, and I see a lot of new folks, friends of the show coming in. Angels here, welcome. I want to remind you that we have a landing page up. We have the newsletter up. This is our whole thing this week. Real quick commercial to say my bio, Alex's bio, and the riseupmorningshow.com. All of it right now. You can sign up in a click to get the newsletter. It's infrequent, once a week, super valuable bullet points from the show, just like the links. We looked at DEX tools this week. We checked out this token. We did that stuff. And, you know, a little extra sprinkles of goodness as our incentive to you. The POAP secret words will be distributed this week via the newsletter. So if you want a free NFT, collectible, will go up, up, up as the show goes up, or nowhere if we don't. Then, you know, we're here for the friends anyway. That was the bull run, the friends we met along the way. Sign up for the newsletter. It's in our profile now. And that'll help us out too as we continue to talk to people about sponsoring the show, bringing stuff back to the community. It'll be a big help. My profile, Alex's profile, live now. And then come back tomorrow because we have an interview with Magic Internet Money. You definitely don't want to miss that. We had a question, Alex, in the comments from B. Rudo. I don't know anything about TIA or the other token that was there. And I was going to ask you if you have a thought on those, maybe you could give it. But he asked a question about the narrative of modular blockchains. And I wanted to talk about that just really quick. Angel, you signed up for the newsletter at the link in my bio. You click my face or click Alex's face. The beacons page that's there, both of us have got this newsletter sign up right there, right at the top of our beacons page. You drop your name, your email. You don't have to give a last name if you don't want to. You can make it up. You can give us your wallet address if you want to. Quick, painless. It's also at theriseupmorningshow.com. But the easiest way is just click my face and follow it. Link in my bio. Modular blockchains. What does that even mean? Modular? What? What did he say? So in blockchain, we talk a lot about centralization, right? That's the buzzword. It's decentralized. But Alex often likes to remind all of us that centralization is a spectrum. Nothing is entirely centralized or decentralized, and nothing that is somewhat centralized or somewhat decentralized is that way all the time, right? These things exist in a state of flux. Another spectrum in blockchain is the spectrum of modularity. On one end, things might be modular, meaning the parts and pieces can work together to build many different things like Lego bricks. Lego bricks are modular. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got stuff that you would call monolithic. There's one way to do it, one piece, one solution. You can't do lots of different stuff with it. It's this way. It's a stick. You know what I mean? It's one thing. And blockchains are said to be modular or monolithic. And in terms of infrastructure, there is advocacy in blockchain for both approaches. If I have a monolithic blockchain like Bitcoin, or I would say like Solana is a monolithic chain, it is a single unified code base that performs all the necessary functions for the blockchain network to operate. Everything the ecosystem needs, it happens right here. Ethereum before data sharding was monolithic. On the very opposite end, you've got highly modular blockchains. These are blockchains with lots of different little built-in modular compartments so that people can have fine-grained control over any kind of function. I would say Arbitrum is a blockchain like this. I would say probably Polkadot, Avalanche are blockchains like this, meant for other blockchains to be built on top of, meant to scale other networks. The Optimism network, a layer 2 on top of Ethereum, is built to do lots of different little specific things. And then you can get really granular. If you're investing for narratives, you're going to hear people talk a lot about modular blockchains. All they're really saying is it's just a blockchain with that is meant to be plug and play in many different ways. Base could be considered a modular blockchain. And of course, if you want to get distinct about it, there you could also say, I've heard people say polylithic, which is like kind of monolithic, and then semi-modular. If you want to get specific, I mentioned Polkadot and Avalanche. You would really say that Polkadot and Avalanche, which are multiple independent blockchains that work together to build a larger ecosystem, those are technically polylithic, but you might hear people call them modular. So let me know what questions you have about that. I think modular blockchains are a hot narrative right now because people have built, until this point, monolithic or polylithic blockchains, ecosystems that are hard to scale, where they want you to do everything here, but if you're Ethereum, then gas is expensive, or you need to bridge somewhere else. That is why people are into modular blockchains. The whole promise of blockchain is that it's composable, or that it would be. And so you are seeing a lot of people building right now to help us realize that promise, to make Lego bricks so that the parts fit easier together. So you can leave one ecosystem and go to another. So it doesn't matter where your assets are stored or where your friend's wallet lives. I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily something like gaming that I'm looking at to make part of my portfolio, like modular blockchains. I would just say I invest in infrastructure. Last cycle, I would have told you I invest in all the layer ones because everything else is built on top of them. Modular blockchains are like the everything else. What do you think, Alex? Do you have anything to add to that? Did I do okay? Did I clean it up? What? Are you talking? You
Sorry,
talking?
I muted. I was muted because I was sneezing. But no, I was saying that was good. I think just to summarize, all I would say is that, like Evan was saying, there are multiple different kinds of blockchain. There's not just one type. The same way that there are different kinds of vehicles to do different stuff. You know, I need a truck for a different reason than I need a Prius. And in the world of modular blockchains, just as the name implies, they are designed and intended to specialize in a couple specific things at most. And then they delegate the responsibilities for the other things they're not good at doing at different pieces of their network instead. So sort of like, I mean, you know, if you have Legos and you build a little structure together, it's going to be, you know, good for whatever that little structure was. If it's a little bowl, it's going to be good for holding something. But it's not going to be good for, I don't know, shooting a projectile.
Can I extend your analogy? I'm going to give you a different one. I would say highways. The monolithic blockchains are highways. They go east to west across the whole country. But if you want to go to Alex's house, you need a street. The streets are like the modular blockchains. They do one highly specific thing. They get you to Alex's house. The highway can take you, you know, wherever you want to go until you get there.
Yeah. Fairness doctrine, you come in like once every couple days and you make that exact comment. Why are you still surprised that this is what we're talking about? This is the topic of the show, my friend.
I wonder if fairness doctrine is a bot. You know, like one of those bots that says, this live should be viral. You know what I mean? Fairness doctrine, just say something else and let us know if you're a bot or not, because I'm just curious.
Are bots able to respond to specific things? Because have you seen Ashley, the comment bot?
No. What?
Dude, okay, so if you find like any video, and seriously, across any niche that's doing any kind of well.
Are you talking about on Twitter?
No, I'm talking about on TikTok.
No.
There's an AI, a bot run by an AI named Ashley, with a very scantily clad woman in the profile picture, and every comment is just like this kind of generic, lightly uplifting thing. And that bot is so early to every video. It's insane. But it's really funny. If you go dig through the comment section on pretty much any viral video, you will find the comment from Ashley that just says something like, "This is what a great uplifting message," or something like that. But they're specifically tuned to the video in question.
How wild. There's one on Twitter whose name is escaping me, but she's on crypto Twitter and she was in like literally every single Twitter space on crypto Twitter. She's got a black and white profile picture. Her name, it's like Susan or something like that. And I remember the day there was a day a while ago in Elon's bot tirade that somehow she got banned or taken down or blocked or something. And everyone was doing these like memorial posts, and they were like, she was a real friend to everybody, like we miss her, bring her back. I see we got some more questions. Did you see anything about B Rudo asked about TIA and something else, and I don't know anything about
Yeah, I'm not familiar with those. I'm gonna have to pull them up and dig. But of course, there's multiple TIAs. It seems like, so I'm gonna have to figure out which one is the right one. If Rudo, if you can, like, I don't know, put it in the general chat or something on the Discord, so I know what the right one is, then we can kind of poke around a little bit. Harshini, we don't really make predictions or give buy signals or any of that kind of stuff. So if you're just looking like which layer one should you invest in, I mean, the best I can do to tell you is that there are a few really big layer ones. Ethereum is the biggest. It's up quite a bit right now. I don't know that even if I was going to recommend that anyone invest in anything in particular, that I would recommend putting a copious amount of money into anything right now, just because the markets are pretty green and we're in price discovery, which means that at some point it will correct. But Ethereum is the big one. It's also really expensive and nearly unusable for the general retail market, unless you enjoy paying $30+ per transaction. Because right now it costs you $30 to move $5, which is completely unusable. Then you have the other big ones like Solana, like Avalanche, like Cardano, like the Binance Smart Chain. I mean, these are all. You just. What I would say is, if this is a thing you really want to do, the best I'm going to give you is that you got to go find the things that you're interested in, and see what kinds of networks those are built on, and then that's the layer one I would go for.
Yeah, and to get a little more specific in terms of if all you're doing is just trying to invest in whatever will make you the most money, then what I would do is think of your money as short term, medium term, long term. Ask yourself the question, how much money do I have? How quickly do I want more? And how much am I willing to lose along the way? Those are good questions just to start getting to know yourself as an investor, especially in the crypto space, because crypto is unlike any other investment space because it's so volatile. It tends to be high risk generally. There are low risk plays here, but most of it is money that you should be comfortable just saying bye bye to. That is high risk, high reward, or high loss. But from there, you can start to say, okay, what do I feel I understand well? Just like, somebody who is a mechanic might feel comfortable investing in Ford or Dodge or something they understand because they can make sense of the news in that business. You might, if you are a lover of gaming, want to pay attention to companies that are using blockchain to make gaming better, because it'll be a lot easier for you to tell, yeah, this is, as a gamer, this is a good solution, this is a bad solution. I don't tend to invest in companies building rockets because I know absolutely nothing about them. I tend to invest in companies building internet infrastructure because that's something I'm interested in learning about. The ability for computers to talk to each other, for us to talk to them better, communication problems. So I would say if there is a layer one blockchain that is making something you understand easier or better, that might be a good place to start paying attention. And it will be easier for you as the market moves to move with it than it would be if you're just, looking at a chart, reading the news, hoping to understand what's going on somewhere else. Um, and I don't think it's a bad idea as a crypto investor to diversify by just starting with layer ones. In order to incentivize yourself to learn about them. Alex and I do that all the time. We'll move to a new ecosystem or whatever. We'll be talking to our friends, our colleagues, and we will move first into the layer one token, um, and then we will start from there to use that asset to explore other things we're interested in. To give you a specific example, if you are interested in gaming right now, a place that you might pay attention is Avalanche Network. Avalanche native token is AVAX. Everything on that network uses AVAX token. It's the first layer. So you might buy a little Avalanche if you spend time there and are interested in the projects. And from there, you might turn a little bit of that Avalanche into the token for one specific project that you think is really promising so that you can check in on it every day, get to know it. If over time you find I've got too many tokens, that's a sign you should pay attention to. If over time you find this is not that exciting or it's too confusing or hard for me, that's a sign for you. So play around like that and then come back and ask us more questions, but that's where I'd start. I've got Celestia and Dim pulled up, but I haven't read through them yet. I knew about Celestia.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize it was TIA.
Yeah, that was a good point on all of the layer one stuff. I think, like Evan said, it makes it so much easier to understand when good or bad things are happening. What's up?
Sorry, Shirley Lowe. That's the name of the bot on Twitter. Shirley Lowe.
Oh.
Everybody's friend on Twitter, Shirley Lowe. I'm sorry, Alex. Please go.
There we go. Jeez. If you know a little bit more about it, when you see, when you're scraping through Crypto Panic or something, you'll recognize a news story as being more or less impactful instead of having to wait until social media diagnoses it for you, which usually means that you miss kind of that early mover advantage. So if what you are focused on is that, quick and dirty investing, obviously you want to be the early one. And by the time it's blasted all over social media, that's like the number one thing I can say, because what's the most common question in crypto, especially during a bull market, is just thoughts on
what should I buy? Thoughts on this?
Yeah. Usually someone is asking that because it is making the rounds heavily. And this certainly doesn't mean that it can't go up, because often in a bull market, everything goes up. So you just don't want to be the one that like sees a name pumped out by like 400 different people in one day and then has to go ask someone else what they think about it. Like, you can be the one with the thought about it. You just have to go kind of dig a little bit into it and figure it out. Because I mean, the simple truth is, you ask someone like us, or another person sitting on live, or another creator or whatever, thoughts on whatever. In my experience, most of them are going to not really have any real thoughts about it. Maybe they've heard about it. Tiny one-off chance that it's something that they have done research into, but more than likely, I'm going to distract you with something else while I Google it really quickly behind you on my laptop, and then read you like the first sentence from the brochure to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about and that I heard about it before.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I'm on the Celestia website right now. It's a token I've heard about. It's a network I've heard about. And I am just trying to refresh. I'm absolutely looking for, what is this? What is this? And I am going to tell you, to the best of my ability, what their marketing manager has put on their website. You know what I mean? Like, the takes we give are filtered through that.
Yep.
That's a good point, Alex.
I don't know what either one of these things are, so I'm going to have to go through the websites and, kind of try to figure out, first of all, what it is. And then my first impression is always the same. The way I get my first impression is always the same. Look it up on CoinGecko to get the basics and see what price chart looks like, see if they have a website, see how active they are on socials, all that good stuff. Then go to the website and read it and see if it sounds like bullshit or not. And you can kind of, you read enough, you can kind of figure it out. Like, take a project that you know is solid, whether you like it or not, or whether it's a good investment or not. Just take one that you know is like legit and go to their website and see how they talk about it. I think my examples for the best put together projects from like a website perspective would be Polkadot and Avalanche. Those are phenomenal, and no one can sit here and tell you that either one of those is a scam. They might end up being terrible investments, but like they certainly won't be scams. At worst, they're going to be businesses that don't succeed. So that's like a pretty good baseline that I use. Is the website making me feel warm and fuzzy inside, or does it seem like a bunch of bumper stickers? Just kind of stringing buzzwords along because they know what people say. The blueprint for how a crypto influencer is going to tell you that a project is worth your time and worth your money is a tale as old as time. They haven't changed the blueprint for how they say. It's the same shit every time. I promise you I could pretty much recite every video you're ever going to see about somebody recommending a good project. They're active on social media. Don't give a shit what they're posting about. They have a strong team, meaning that there's clout on the team. So they are ex-employees from other big tech companies, don't care about anything else, and that they have access to their white paper. Most people will tell you that if all three of those conditions are met, that it's a good investment and you should full send. But not financial advice, do your own research, and then slap that little disclosure on the end and call it a video. So, I mean, you can figure out all that for yourself without having to ask someone who's just going to generally mislead you.
I couldn't agree more. And I would say you really should look for people who are going to teach you the process by which they accumulate and filter knowledge. Use what works for you, leave the rest. If somebody is only giving you buy it or don't, that's not helpful to you. But if you can learn a process by which you can evaluate according to, is this a good investment for me? Then that's a good signal that these are your teachers. Alex, can I give a thought on Celestia, or did you have something else you wanted to say? So Celestia, I've seen this one before, and I have encountered it in conversation around data availability. That's the problem Celestia is trying to solve. Okay, blockchains are isolated networks. Unless something is on the blockchain in the form of a token or non-fungible token, an entry on the ledger, it's really hard to get access to it. We've got all these things that are building the infrastructure, we say, for the new internet. Okay, the blockchain is the magic notebook, but now if there are different blockchains, they got to be able to talk to each other, and they also have to be able to talk to stuff, things, and people, ideas that are not on a blockchain at all. We use what we call oracles, solutions like Chainlink that function kind of like an API to bring online data, or excuse me, offline, off-chain data, online, on-chain, so that we can get the security of blockchain, the immutability of blockchain, but be more easily accessible to more people. We're adding roads to our highways. Data availability is just a fancy way to say all that stuff. We want our data to be available wherever we are on the blockchain, whether it's on chain or off. And Celestia specifically uses a particular type of data availability sampling that, the thing about blockchains is when you want to query the blockchain, you need to have a copy of the whole magic notebook, the whole ledger. It's a lot of data. If you want to verify one thing, you got to read the whole thing. And so a lot of people have innovated ways to look at just a small part of it to verify. How can we use the least amount of power, the least amount of energy, the least amount of time to get a high degree of certainty? Many different solutions. This is one of them. When you're looking at Celestia, you're going to see a lot of projects try to solve this problem, data availability. And here's what I'm thinking about when I look at Celestia. I think it looks like they're trying to build their own layer one blockchain that is like a base layer for others to tap into. And that's cool, but it's very challenging. And it's all about attention and users. Who's got the most attention and users right now? Ethereum does. And so my first question is, are they competing with Ethereum? And the answer appears to be yes. They're building their own ecosystem. And on Ethereum, there are companies doing data availability. I'm not saying that data availability shouldn't and can't exist outside of Ethereum. I'm saying as an investor, looking at horses who are running to solve this problem. Who's got the best head start? Who's got the most muscle? Who's got the most experienced jockey? On Ethereum right now, there's a project called Eigenlayer. And if you want to learn more about this, Unchained, the podcast, just did a really fantastic episode of Deep Dive. Eigenlayer's gotten a lot of popularity lately because they're a liquid restaking platform on Ethereum that will make it possible to do lots of other things. They also have a data availability play that works a little differently than Celestia, like the way it verifies data, but it's solving the same problem. I bring it up because I don't know how many users Celestia has, but I would bet my whole portfolio that it's less than Eigenlayer. Eigenlayer, in the short time it's existed, has become the #1 liquid staking provider on the Ethereum network, which is the #1 cryptocurrency network by activity, in a pretty short amount of time. Eigen data availability is one of their products. They will support a whole bunch of them. Celestia wants to be this modular solution, but they don't have an ecosystem like Ethereum they're built on top of. They don't have the attention or the capital that somebody like Eigen does. And so could they compete? Absolutely. Their solution might be better, but in terms of like attention and infrastructure, they're going to have to go up against Eigenlayer, which has the attention of our whole ecosystem and has scaled tremendously quickly and is built on top of Ethereum. So those are the kind of things I'm thinking about as I look at Celestia. On its website, it seems like a great project. Looks super easy to navigate. Don't know what the tokenomics are. I haven't even looked at the price of the token yet. And the price of the token might go up because data availability is a hot narrative. But in the long term, like who's going to be the Verizon of this? If I had to bet right now, I would say, Eigenlayer, who does not have a token at this time.
Yeah, Celestia looks like is the token at least is currently distributed amongst 580,000 wallets. But of course, that doesn't mean users.
Good distinction. Yeah, good point.
Not seeing a stat for.
How long have they had? Do you see the timeline for the token? Has it been around a while? Is it, if you're diversifying, I think, if that data availability is your thing, it seems like it could be a viable option. I know it has a lot of attention.
Has not been around long. CoinGecko doesn't have data before Halloween of last year.
Got it.
So at least that's when CoinGecko listed it.
Ryan is asking us if we had dug into Supra anymore. We haven't talked about it on the show since then, but in our Discord community, our friend Dave had posted an update about his journey on their roadmap to like airdrop. And I gotta say, it seems like a pretty fun, smooth process. If you're an airdrop hunter, they've made it easy for you. Who knows how valuable that'll be, and who knows how valuable their Oracle will be. But as far as their the neatness and their incentive, like, good job, Supra. Who is this in the comments? I gotta get you. Just somebody talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, sorry everybody. We're just catching up. We're slow readers, slow talkers and slow readers.
Yearn Finance or YFI, they've been around for a while. I have not heard much from them. They were big last bull run. They got a lot of attention, but I feel like they've kind of been outstripped by their competition pretty heavily.
I'm looking at this Portal Coin one. That sounds really interesting. That's where I'm going next.
Pull up their social.
Somebody, Robbie Ray's our friend, commented when I said we'll be back Wednesday. He said, "Has Big Pepe replaced your day jobs?" I said, "Not yet." I wanted to tell you while you're looking that up. I got an invite from a company yesterday called Dora AI. I signed up forever ago for this thing. It's a website generator like Mixo, and you do a prompt and it generates a website, and it's a Dolly style prompt. And man, when those things get good, like when it becomes a whole co-pilot that you can do throughout the website, like right now it's like one prompt and you can regenerate it or not, and then basically it's like Webflow.
Yeah.
But when those things get good, man, look out. Um, I was, like I said, I did a survey for them. They asked me for some feedback after I was on the site for about 10 minutes, and I gave it like 5 out of 10 because I was like, guys, I see what you're trying to do. It kind of sucks right now, but like, great job. Like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, would I use it? No, but it's neat as
Yeah.
hell. And it's scary how like quickly they've made progress on it. Um, Whoever cracks that shell is going to be that's going to be incredible.
Yeah. There's that one I'm not familiar with. I'd have to look.
No need to look it up. I'll keep you posted on it. If people want to see it, I can pull it up one day and we can use 20 of my free credits to generate our own website. I was playing around with it. It actually, I did one for Big Pepe just to see what it would do. And I'll tell you, one of the things it did really well was it created these like frog in the style of Pepe, like I don't know what, they weren't logos, they were like, maybe I can pull it up. They were like icons. I don't know, when you're scrolling on a website, you see a little triangle next to this data point and a little square next to this one, but they were like frogs. I I don't know how to describe it. Like custom graphics. It was cool. Is Portal Coin the next gen gaming platform and publisher? That's the one that we were talking about that doesn't have a seed phrase?
Yep. Looks like they're taking registrations for pre-sale.
I've never heard of this. And they've paid $10,000 a month to get a yellow check mark on Twitter. Yep. So they got funds.
I've definitely heard of Portal. There's some gaming buzz and chatter around them, but as far as I know, it's not one of the ones that is live and active and dropping, early access to games and all that stuff, but their token's not out either. So that could be part of it.
Well, I got to tell you, their pin tweet has this video on it, and I think it sucks. It says,
do you have a picture on your phone from when you had the wreck with my car, the scratches on the bumper?
Yes.
Can you text it to me?
Yes, I can.
Like now?
Yes, I can. I will be right back.
Okay. So I'm looking at the cognition Devine. It's an interesting looking little protocol. Put a pin in that to read into that in a little bit. So Rudo, what did you have to do to get the airdrop? The comment is that they hold TIA and DYM because they were airdropped them. Oh, interesting. What do you do with AI? I have a family friend who has a PhD in what is now AI. Got it many years ago. Okay, Cosmos staking. Yep. I mean, this is one of those things. In the beginnings of bull runs, when stuff starts to heat up, projects that are looking to get attention will often reward people who have done things on their network with an airdrop. That's a pretty common way. Plus, it's how you would do a fair token launch. Figure out some sort of a parameter for an airdrop and then send it. So staking the layer one's token that project is built on is the easiest way. So if there is a layer one that you're into that you have conviction for, you should stake some of it. I mean, I'm sure that we all remember in the beginning stages of this current bull run that we are in, the GITO, I don't remember even what they stand for.
Yeah.
But it's a project on Solana that rewarded people who were staking SOL specifically through Coinbase. Is that right?
I don't remember what platform it was. I can't imagine it would have been Coinbase. I would have bet it would have been one of the. I think it was one of the like Jupiter or something.
No, as soon as I said that, I was like, "There's no way that's right." But anyway, they rewarded people who were staking Solana, and there were so few people at the time who were staking. Oh, they had to be staking it in the right pool, in the Jito pool. And at the time that they ran the snapshot to get the data for the airdrop, there were so few people doing it that the cheapest token allocation that one of those users got was worth $10,000 on the day that the airdrop went out. And there was a tweet that blew up on Twitter of somebody saying that they found out about it the day before, threw a single soul into the Jito staking pool the day before, and received a $10,000 airdrop the next morning for doing it. Talk about perfect timing. The odds of you catching that are slim to none, but it is where I would say if you have a layer one or a project that you like have long-term conviction for and you're holding it, I mean, you might as well stake some of it, right?
That's a great point. I found some Avalanche recently that I did not see because they updated the wallet and I couldn't see it. It was on a different chain than what they showed. And my biggest disappointment when I got it, back visible in the land of the living was that I hadn't been staking it because I hadn't touched it in about 2 years. And it might not have been a ton, but it would have been more than it was, yesterday. There's a really interesting comment a while back about like what's Solana going to have to do to scale. I remember, Alex, you said we're not terribly technical, but I think one of the things that I'm seeing them do is nail attention and nail infrastructure. We're talking about Jupiter in the comments. Jup.ag, Jup.ag is got to be the cleanest DEX I have used. Maybe ever. I love the user experience. I love the features and functionality. The way they have really made it simple and fun. Solana has captured attention with great meme tokens. They've got some killer infrastructure pieces like Jupiter, and the fees are low as hell. So people are willing to put up with latency, with downtime. And I don't know, what it's going to take technically for them to fix their network. But, and I'm not a huge fan of how, centralized the backing is. It's a VC chain for sure, but it works great when it works.
Better now that FTX is out of the picture.
Big time better now that FTX is out of the picture. And who knows? Maybe that's going to be the way that they're going to scale. They're going to scale by selling memes and selling phones, and making it fun for people. Like we said on the show the other day, somebody said Solana is just for meme tokens, but I mean, it's all about transaction volume. If people are using it, that's what matters.
I mean, it's not a bad way to scale in this industry, to just have the best user experience and the most entertaining shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, I have done a full, since joining the space years ago, I have done a full 180 on my opinion of Solana.
Me too.
And it's not an opinion that I think, even capable of having at the beginning of my crypto journey, because all I was looking at was like the raw information available online about, the technical fundamentals of a particular project. So I would read about Solana and be like, well, Avalanche or, any of the other layer ones that haven't had any downtime are obviously superior because there's no downtime. And then, you live and work in the space for long enough and years go by and you realize that no one gives a shit about the downtime because they're having fun and they're entertained and they are having a decent user experience with a thing, even if it's not phenomenal. I mean, dude, I'll make an enemy real quick. How many truck guys love Dodge Rams and that's their personality, even though on paper there is no worse transmission than the transmission in a Ram. The mechanics always joke the only transmission with a guarantee is the Dodge Ram, and it's guaranteed to drop out by 100,000 miles. So, but still, the Ram Rebel has a huge following in a community, even though, technically, it's a piece of shit.
Um, Bruto mentioned Avalanche's meme fund in the comments. So I can save you from the truck ragers. Our friend Joe is big into the Avalanche ecosystem. The guide in the Faceless Many community, and they launched this fund. It's called Culture Catalyst. It's $100 million meme fund to invest in culturally significant native to Avalanche memes. The tokens have to be at least a month old, so that cuts out a lot right there. They have to have over 2,000 holders, with the top 100 owning less than 60% of the supply, so fairly distributed. Over $200,000 of liquidity, and a minimum $1 million market cap. So it excludes a lot of stuff. They're really going for like culturally significant. I am pretty sure that the founder of Avalanche tweeted about one of their memes happening right now, Coven Signoci or whatever. And that would be an example of one. I can't find a list of what they've invested in so far, like what's been a culturally significant meme. But to the end of the question, how much money is in memes? Alex, I don't know about you, but I would say all of it.
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rudo, you make a very good point. Does Solana still go down? Yes, it went down relatively recently, but the downtime is decreasing, which is a sign that something is improving. And I saw an engineer, a software engineer. It might have been Daniel. Now that I think about it, I think it definitely was Daniel, who was talking about Solana's downtime and just sort of, why it doesn't matter. And he's been pretty vocal, before about like, that's not ideal, obviously. But here's why it doesn't matter. And the point that he made was just if you're clutching your pearls over Solana's downtime while holding up your chosen layer one as superior, just know that if your chain ever sees any adoption, it will also have problems.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude,
which is a great bird.
What a great, what an absolutely great, just phenomenal, dude. It was so good. And it's so true, because then you take, someone who's like, standing on a soapbox propped on top of the head of their high horse, and you look at their chain compared to, whatever they're complaining about, and it's like 1% of the daily active users in volume and everything. And, it's like, here's another thing. This is a tiny rant. I'll keep it short because I know that these can get a little in the weeds, but one of the ways that tribal heavy maximalism is so gross in crypto. And what I mean by that is the people who spend their entire waking life and make their entire personality just complaining about how no one appreciates how technologically superior their favorite blockchain is,
right?
On Twitter. I personally know a number of these people, and I have asked them so many times, like, dude, just take a breath. Have you ever considered doing something else for a day than just shilling this crypto relentlessly? Like, no one in anything else is this passionate. Like, can you imagine if like people who liked books were this aggressive about their favorite series, and like the second someone else picked up a different series, they weren't like, they're hitting them over the head with their good one, just like, anyway. So it's stupid. Don't be a maximalist. It's toxic and gross, and you look like an idiot. But they were like, their typical MO is to pick a metric that looks impressive and then just push that one into everyone's head. And the favorite one on blockchains that have no fucking adoption, no users, and nothing happening is total value locked, or like the amount that's being staked. So like, and GitHub commits. So like you'll take a layer one that has like 18,000 GitHub commits in the last month, and you'll go look at GitHub and look at what the commits were, and it was like changing, I don't know, fixing typos on the website, and like updating the white paper, like shit that doesn't matter. and that's that was their commit. I mean, dude, the Shades of Sin, the game has like 4,000 commits in the last 2 months, and 3,900 of them are just updating Kyle's artwork with the newest versions, right?
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't mean anything. But then also like how much of the current total circulating supply is staked. It's like, yeah, it's all staked 'cause there's nothing to fucking do with it. So of course it's all staked. Like, 80% of it's staked. That means no one has anything that they can do with that layer one's cryptocurrency. There's nothing to trade. There's no dexes to mess with. There's, nothing to play with, nothing to learn with. You just buy it and stake it. It's like, is that a bad thing that a lot of it's staked? Oh, of course not. Absolutely not. But like, just be aware that they will just pick a metric because there's a lot you can choose from and hold that up as the reason that theirs is superior. And it's all cherry picked. It's all biased. And it's really just meant to generate likes and attention and engagement on social media from the other people who are like overly invested in that ecosystem and want solidarity with other people who are also holding a bag that's down bad,
Yeah, it's really dangerous to get into a room with people who are all saying the same thing and are all emotionally tied to an investment. Like that, let that be an indicator to you. When that starts to happen, just excuse yourself politely and adjourn. That's your time to go.
Take a step back.
Alex, do you remember Propy, the real estate solution? We've heard
course.
about him here and there. I don't know that we've ever really like dived deep on him. But I just saw in Crypto Panic, they announced a public launch for a service that they've kind of been beta testing that you can mint your property deeds as an NFT on chain now.
Holy shit.
I think this is more of a novelty than it is like everybody's moving their house to the blockchain at this time. But Propy is a project that's been around for a while. This thing is Propy Keys, Propy, Propy. And it's on Base, which is an Ethereum L2 that you'll hear a lot about in the years ahead. And I definitely think it's worth checking out if you're into real world assets. I'm not saying invest in it, but like go click around and see what it looks like and let us know what you think about it. I'm going to maybe try and spend 5 or 10 minutes doing some research on it. Because we talked about since the beginning, it seems like how great it's going to be to have deeds on the blockchain. And they've done more than just about anyone I've seen to do it at scale.
Do you remember? You remember they were like a keynote speaker, a keynote sponsor at TNABC in 2021 or two.
Yeah,
whichever one. 2022.
Yeah, it was the mortgage product, right? Like leverage your Bitcoin to get a mortgage. We will acknowledge it. That was cool. That was really cool. Real?
No, not the real person for Propy. The real person for Hard Rock Nick. Are you familiar with that individual? Because he's one of my favorite humans on earth.
I am familiar with Hard Rock Nick, but why did you say real person for Propy? I don't get the real person for Propy joke.
It's Chainsauce said Hard Rock Nick. I don't know if they were like, were you replying to someone with that username in the chat that I just didn't see? I just saw Hard Rock Nick. And then have you ever seen the meme?
Yeah, can the devs do something? Yeah, absolutely. It was hilarious.
Can the devs do something? Yeah, sorry.
How did Hard Rock Nick become a favorite of the crypto community? He was at a party I was at. Here's a real top signal for you.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't get a picture of anything.
Oh my god.
He's short.
Of course he is, dude.
Here's a huge top signal. I was at a party in Miami. First of all, stories that start like that. Top signal. I was at a party on Star Island in Miami that I bought an NFT to go to. I was there with Kimberly. This is in December of 2022, or maybe it was a downtime. On Star Island in Miami, in this mansion for an NFT that no longer really exists. That actually was quite cool at the time. That was all about like doing what's Hard Rock Nick on Cameo? It was Cameo Pass. So it was like bringing people closer than ever. It was like the UFE thing, closer than ever to their favorite public figures. And this party had Hard Rock Nick. It had I don't know, two or
What
three
a
like
flex.
B-list rap stars. It had some NBA players there. They had, I mean, I didn't know. For people who don't know me, when I walk into the club and there's a celebrity there, I don't get hyped because I don't know who they are. It's not that I'm like just really chill, although I am. It's mostly just I don't know who you are, so of course I treat you like a regular person because I think you are a regular person. But Hard Rock Nick was there, and his eyebrows were done, and his like beard was drawn on like it usually is, and he was wearing a fur coat, and he looked really uncomfortable. Like he looked like he was like didn't know anybody there, and was just kind of like trying to, he didn't look sad about it, but he looked like, just like he needed a friend. Like if I hadn't known it was Hard Rock Nick and that everybody was probably trying to talk to him, I probably would have gone up to him and been like, "Hey man, how you doing? You okay?" You know, like,
I mean, I think he was just like built in a lab to only exist on social media. So you put him in the real world and he just short circuits.
he was wearing like a, I don't know, like a hat from the Buckle or something, like with a big logo on the front, and some of those jeans that have like the white bleach stripes on them, and Ryan Carson was there, and I don't know, man. It was it was a party, man. A party on Star Island with Hard Rock Nick.
Dude, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, I have some pictures from it. Maybe I'll find them and post them in our newsletter first edition. I don't think I have a picture of Hard Rock Nick. I think I just have pictures of the house.
Island for Chaos. Thank you again for the gifts. You certainly did
Yeah,
not.
thank you very much. I saw that. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge it. You don't have to send us gifts. They're always so appreciated. The most helpful thing you can do is tap the screen, give us some likes, share this with a friend who needs answers to crypto questions that aren't full of crap, and then sign up for the newsletter. You can find it at the link in our bios. Super easy, super valuable, infrequent newsletter.
Super
First
free.
edition's coming out this week, and it's going to have the secret word for the Poe app. We're talking about how to also like upgrade that to make it a super premium newsletter. So there'll be like a free version, and then like one you pay like a couple bucks for a month that'll have maybe some of the tokens we're watching or like a DeFi lesson from Joe. But this one, it's free, baby, and it's good. It's going to be good. So sign up now.
So Rudo asks an interesting question about NFT resurgence. I don't think like in the same way that they had their time in the sun originally. I think that now we live in a world where very specific NFT narratives could run. Like you mentioned ordinals, and I know ordinals have certainly had a time. I'm not even remotely involved in the broader NFT space at this point. We've got our own thing, and that's about the only one I know anything about. But I think it's pretty safe to say that at this point, the only NFTs that are ever going to get any attention are the ones that actually end up doing something that people care about.
Yeah.
The original Dream was sold with a whole bunch of hype, and communities and people who bought them hyped up the thing. And then, even the ones that did fully accomplish and deliver a roadmap, it turns out that people didn't really care about what they were going to do. It ended up not being that exciting. The exciting thing was speculating on the NFT. I think that day and age of those being able to run is over broadly. Although anything is possible, we're seeing another meme coin resurgence, so it could very well come around. The big difference and the thing to keep in mind if you're thinking about going in on an NFT, like in the hopes, are just that unlike liquidity pools for tokens, like for fungible tokens or things that you buy in and on crypto exchanges, you don't necessarily need another human being on the other end of that transaction to buy the thing from you. Whereas with an NFT sale, you need someone else to consciously choose to purchase it from you. So it's much harder to sell one if you're like down on it. If Evan bought an NFT and it drops and the floor drops by 50% and he's like, I'm over this, I don't want to deal with it anymore. He still needs to find somebody to buy it off of him. Whereas if he buys a token. He buys Cardano, for example, and it's down by 20%. He's like, man, to hell with this. I think it's going to go worse. I'm going to get out of it. He just sells it back to Coinbase, takes the loss, and moves on. So the NFT is like way harder to offload, and it's way riskier to buy into. So, just some stuff to keep in mind for those.
Mihir let us know this morning that the Bored Ape Yacht Club has hit a low of $12K floor, $12,000 to buy the most expensive monkey JPEGs in the world.
I think it's 12 ETH, but still.
Oh, 12 ETH? Oh, I thought it was 12.
But I mean,
okay, so they're still pretty expensive.
Now I'm gonna.
For reference, that's.
But to put that in perspective, they were more than 150 ETH floor not that long ago.
At a time when that was worth almost $500,000, big time drop, and who knows? They're clearly they're not delivering what they wanted. I am impressed at Yuga Labs' ability to gain attention and fumble the bag. But yep. I mean, they're trying.
So the floor is currently 15.3 ETH, which is still 60 grand. So that's something.
I mean, obviously nothing to shake a stick at, but it's all about the journey, right? Alex, you don't know the Sleepy Kuma, but that's a friend of mine who is using their company to make experiments with basic income, essentially automating jobs so that people can, like I always say, be free to experience life. And I would love, if you're still here, Kuma, sometime, not today because we're about to get out of here, but we're here live Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Would love to have that kind of conversation. Yes. Did I say basic income? I didn't mean basic. I meant universal income. I would just say abundance. It's a cool experiment, and I definitely think that blockchain plays a part of it. I want to have that conversation. So give Sleepy Kuma a follow if that's something you're interested in, and I'll send you a message. We'll figure it out soon. Somebody asked about Celestia too. If you want thoughts on Celestia, you might need to wait until the end of the week when I upload them. But we just talked about it, and the episode will be on YouTube, so you can catch it. My thought, I don't know. Alex, did you give a thought on that? I gave a thought on that, and I don't know that you gave a thought on that after I talked about Celestia. I'm sorry. We've been hitting a lot of stuff today.
No, I did not, but I did agree with your assessment of it. I don't necessarily have anything else to add except to answer this last question specifically about launching a project on it. This is an anecdotal experience, but I've seen this play out a lot. And I can actually speak to launching a project on a niche blockchain that does not really have much adoption in the hopes that it does get adoption. It's super risky. Personally, it didn't work out for us. It ended up not being the move. Anchoring yourself to a blockchain that you do not know is doing anything impactful or is like going to get users or whatever is very risky.
Yeah.
It would be better to build something off chain and then wait to see where the best place to put it would be. Plus, if you can build an off-chain project that you would like to then move on-chain and you have users and attention and a product and a service that's doing well and all that kind of stuff, oftentimes blockchains will try to incentivize you to come to their network and bring them your attention. So that could work out for your benefit as well. But I can honestly advise you not to launch on Celestia. Like, there's a very small chance that it works out. And there's a way bigger chance that it doesn't. So if you feel like rolling the dice, that's up to you.
Yeah, especially if you're bootstrapped. If they're going to pay you a lot of money to launch there, if you have a lot of partnerships or something like that, if you're a corporate or whatever, go for it. But don't bootstrap there.
Yeah. It's no. I mean, that will bite you for sure.
Yeah, and the thought just to like touch it that I had said earlier, that It's perfect, Alex, because the attention is everything. The users are everything. Solana, that's why we're so bullish, and we enjoy spending time there. That's a huge green flag. In
Yeah.
terms of who's got the attention and the users, the answer right now is Ethereum. Could other blockchains scale? Absolutely, but it's going to require them to invest. They're going to have to get some big projects. If all they attract is little guys like us who are going to build some hobbies, and one of them will become a cool thing, it'll just be hard. In the Mario Kart race of innovation, Ethereum is 3 laps ahead, and they're driving a big cart.
I mean that's a good point. Like right now I am actively using the Solana and the Avalanche networks. And in order to use them, I had to get some of the token.
Yeah.
Avalanche or Solana. So like I wanted to do a thing, and so I had to buy the token. I didn't like buy it to invest in it because I was trying to speculate. I was like, no, I need some so that I can do the stuff I'm trying to do. That's called success. That's called the blockchain winning. That's called
Yeah,
that's
100%.
called adoption.
That's called adoption. Yeah. Alex, do you know about unstaking veracity? I'd love to hit the unstaking veracity question and give an answer. I don't stake veracity personally, but
no, I was gonna say join the Discord and we can look, because I have no idea. I would have to dig into and figure out how to unstake it. I've never interacted with that network at all, so I can't answer that right now.
And I definitely want to answer Mr. Crypto's question too. So let me give you the Discord. If you are new, is discord.gg/the-many. I typed it in chat a little while ago. And that's the whole reason we started the newsletter, honestly, guys, is because Discord is a high barrier to entry. It's free. It's awesome. We hang out there. But people have trouble with Discord. And also it's hard to display a link on TikTok. So we have all the links at the beacons pages in our profiles. Actually, I don't think I have the Discord link there. I will rectify that. But if you sign up for the newsletter, Alex does. Go to Alex's link. If you sign up for the newsletter, you're going to get all the links. We will send them out to you once a week. Easy place. Discord.gg/the-many. Tell us and we can help you unstake your veracity. And generally speaking, when you buy a cryptocurrency token, you need to know before you buy it how you're going to turn it back into cash. You need to know before you stake it how long is the lockup period. Are there any fees to withdraw it, et cetera, et cetera? Read the terms and conditions. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say sometimes cryptos, when you buy and sell them, they charge you a buy and sell tax as well. So you can look that up.
Yeah. So learn from us. Don't learn the hard way.
Yeah. Okay. So Mr. Crypto, this is a really good question. And my answer entirely depends on what the project is. If you tell me that it's a game, I would tell you to look at Avalanche right now. If it's DeFi, I would tell you to look at Solana right now. It really depends. I mean, gaming, you have a number of options that are doing pretty well. Ronin, Immutable, and Avalanche are all doing big things. And I know if you have 1 million users to port over, that is a super significant sum. I assume that you are speaking hypothetically here, but if that's the case, then bro, you can go wherever you want, man.
Yeah, take it anywhere, man.
You can go wherever you want. We're talking about networks that don't have 1 million users. If you're bringing a project with 1 million users to a network, you can build that pitch deck and send it to all of them and see which one's going to cut you the biggest check. That would be my advice.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was a great answer, Alex. I don't think I could improve upon it. If you could, let me ask you a follow-up question while we wait, though, because I'm sure Mr. Crypto will clarify it. If you could choose to launch any project, I mean, forget about Shades of Sin, forget about Shoup, forget about the stuff we're actively building. Think about another problem that needs to be solved in the space that you think is maybe important, that you can pitch us in a couple of seconds, and where you're going to build it. Aside from the chain that's giving you the most money, let's assume they all want you. You want to solve a problem. What's the problem? Where are you taking it? And if you want time to think, I'll go first. Do you want a second?
No, I think I
You
can
got
do
it? Okay, you go. Because I need time to think. I was just going to bullshit something.
it.
I was just
Fair
gonna
enough.
reach back there.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of data. It's boring and dry, but it's the thing that drives the whole internet. It's unbelievably important. If you control the data, you control the internet.
Yeah.
So a problem that I have wanted to solve for a long time is just one that I personally experience, which is I don't know about you, Evan, but at this point, like if I'm trying to like just go kind of scroll through the internet and potentially shop for something, I'm just going to open Instagram because of how aggressive the targeted ads on Instagram are. Um, so like if I've mentioned in the last 6 months that I'm looking for something, Instagram's going to give me an ad for one. So I am in a camp where I like being targeted by advertising because it makes my life easier when I'm trying to find something to go, read the reviews on and see if I want to buy it. But I hate the fact that I basically had to sacrifice any hope that I will ever have of internet privacy in order to get that. Like that doesn't seem worth it to me. So I have to believe that there is a better way. And I think that blockchain and specifically tokens give you the ability to remain anonymous on the internet while still sharing relevant information about yourself anonymously to allow companies to target me as a potential customer and try to woo me. Um, and what I mean by that is if companies and brands who want to sell things to customers just started giving them NFTs to mark certain behavior, like Starbucks' Odyssey program, then I would be able to have a wallet that holds specific tokens in it. And those tokens could paint a good picture of me as a consumer and let companies know that I am a customer that's worth sending some special offers to try to get me over to their side because I'm going to be a good, valuable customer for them. So the project that I feel very strongly about is actually one that we are building that I think will do that. And it puts a good front end on that data so that like someone could very quickly see a giant list of wallet addresses that are like holding the Starbucks Odyssey token that lets me know that they're coffee drinkers and that they like collecting stuff and they'd probably be into a different, coffee or breakfast or, lifestyle related brand kind of thing, whatever. And I could find those people and I could reward them by airdropping them a token or airdropping them a free NFT or something like that. And I never need to know their name, email address, phone number, physical address, shoe size, mother's maiden name. I don't need any of that shit to do that for them. I just need a wallet address. And if me, the wallet address owner, gets sick of being airdropped all this stuff, cool, delete it. And it's gone forever. Like it's done. You can't follow me from there if I don't want you to be able to follow me. So that's pretty sweet. So I would say, that's longer than a couple seconds, but targeted advertising to, seduce valuable customers to your side and make them your customers. Thank you for that. Dogs went outside, collected pollen, came in here, sneezed it all over my office, and now I'll start sneezing again.
It's the circle of life.
Yeah. So that's my problem to tackle. Oh, but I forgot the most important part of your question. Where would I build it?
Yeah, man.
In that case, the thing that I care about is being able to send large amounts and large numbers of these tokens to users cheaply, so that they can get more of them. And then I want them to be able to send them cheaply so that they are actually incentivized to hang out and use the network. And to be totally honest, right now, based on everything that I've seen, I would be pretty inclined to pick Solana because of the user experience and the wallet. And the fact that there are a ton of eyes on the Solana ecosystem right now and it's cheap as hell. Polygon is a good contender. However, Polygon still has gas spikes, and they still have expensive transactions compared to some other networks. And that's kind of shitty. So you still have to like wait for optimal times to do stuff, and it's easier if you just wait till 3 in the morning to send your transaction, which is not a great user experience. So completely leaving aside the fact that, like, yes, there's a little bit more VC interest in Solana than I personally want. However, the brutal truth is that when the VCs are interested into something, it'll probably get more attention. What's up, Dave? We are still minimally involved with Core, although they've made it pretty clear that they don't really want anything else to do with us unless we're going to launch a token. So I don't think, I think until we start the token chatter for the game, we probably don't really have anything to talk to them about, which is a little disappointing. But yeah, so I don't know, probably Solana, just because of that's where the users are and the attention and the user experience, and it's a vibrant community that's interested in trying new things and all that sort of stuff.
Man, I'm not mad about that, but why not, okay, what about, so Alex, this is something we're building. Why not base? If I had to make the pitch today, and the team was like, Evan, where do we go? I would pitch base.
I was going to say base would be another definitely in the conversation. Avalanche would be in the conversation, maybe, but gas is still more over there than other places. So that right there kind of eliminates them for me personally.
I would only vote for Avalanche because right now they're making big investments into gaming. In terms of, that's our first gaming. Initial market. Alex didn't mention. Did you mention this? That we're really building this as a piece of the gaming ecosystem, because gamers will benefit from this kind of thing. It'll be an easy way to say, yeah, this is really valuable, and from there we can expand to Dunkin' Donuts. I would do that, but I just would want to. I don't know. I think Base has got the security of ETH. Hard to argue. It's got the throughput of Solana. It's cheap as hell, and it's got so much attention right now. It's not as fun as Solana yet. But it's got a lot of consumer crypto people there. Like, a lot of people who are building consumer crypto stuff are there. And I just feel like it's going to be like the Polygon of the next, 2-3 years or whatever. Coinbase is there. They're investing in it big time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Polygon's also not a bad option, but
no. Can I sideline you and ask, when are we getting clear frame glasses in the merch store, man? Is that a thing we can do? Could we do a partnership with Warby Parker and do like Rise Up Morning Show, like lenses? I mean, frames.
Yeah, Warby Parker, get at us.
Listen, man, this is just what happens when you live in 2024 and you're like, a cool and friendly guy, but who's kind of nerdy and a little outside of the mainstream. This is just the pair of glasses that you and everyone else like you, who's a totally unique snowflake, happens to get. So that's why we got them.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It like I said, it depends on the project. I think that Base is a good option, and they certainly have attention. And I'm very curious to see Base in 5 years and to see if they've held to the no token thing, because I don't know. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will respond to demand eventually. It's like, oh, well, we didn't really want to, but I guess everyone wants it, so here you go. Because if they played it that way, it's going to make money.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, let's do final thoughts, because I got to get out of here. I got to go talk to my therapist and get my head right. I have a few commercials while Alex gets his thoughts ready. The first is link in our bio. Sign up for the newsletter. We're giving you POAPs this week via the newsletter. We are debuting it. Thank you. Phoebe is our bepillowed mascot. Hey, baby. You can catch all the goodness of the Rise Up Morning Show in our weekly newsletter condensed. Like, you don't have to sit through an hour and a half episode 4 times a week to get the highlights of the tokens, the tools we talk about. If we get a sponsor, we get a product, we get an affiliate link, we're going to put it there for you. We're going to have a free version, and eventually we'll do a premium version, but the free version is going to be, I promise you, great. Infrequent, valuable. I hate newsletters. So we're going to make a good one.
Yep.
Also, from our profiles, you can find the Faceless Many Discord community. A couple more hoops to jump through, but just as valuable, always going to be free. Discord.gg/the many. If you need help on staking your token, if you want to share a rant in longer form, you want to send a gem to the community, that's the place to do it. And I would love to see you there. Discord.gg/the many. So, number one, newsletter, link in our bio. Number two, Discord.gg/the many. Number three, we're here 4 days a week, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. Join us tomorrow. We're going to be here with Magic Internet Money, our friend Kagan. Super TA guy. Awesome stuff. We love him. We love his work. We think he's great at no hype crypto content. Be here for that conversation. And if you miss it, of course you hear about it in the newsletter, but why not catch up with it on YouTube? I post all our episodes there at the end of the week. YouTube is Faceless_Labs. That's the company, Faceless Labs. The company on a mission to empower the faceless many, all the everyday people who will rise up and write a better future because we learned about this stuff together. And the final commercial I'll give you is, I need to add it to the Rise Up Morning Show tree. But if you really want to support the show and you want to do more than sign up for a newsletter and get a little something in return, you should buy one of these Rise Up Morning Show mugs. I can't think of a cooler way to build an army of awesome people than to just all show up together and drink coffee out of a mug. If you're like me, you're a mug collector. Alex and I, we're here with these every day, so you can be in solidarity with us whenever you drink your coffee, and it helps put a little gas in our car, or in my case, another car in the driveway, because right now my driveway is empty. So buy my mugs.
Will they steal your truck too?
No, my truck just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Although I did find a friend. Check this out. One of my friends, who is like an old school, kind of do-it-yourself guy. He said, "You know what, man? I've been thinking about it. I think I can help you replace that head gasket, and I'll just help." He just is going to do it for free, for the cost of friendship. I'm going to tow my truck over there. We're going to spend a couple weekends doing it, and see if I can't save about $5,000 on the cost of a new vehicle. So,
I mean, shit.
Cross your fingers, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it. But that's my final thought for the day, except for to say thank you to everybody who's been here. This has been a great conversation. Loved having you guys in the chat, and of course, can't wait to have you back again. Alex, do you have final thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom?
I'm well met. I am excited to get Kagan on tomorrow. It's been a long time since I've streamed with him. So, Mr. Crypto, you bring up an interesting point because Evan and I have talked about this. So, the last thing I'll say is just maybe throw this out there. If you have an opinion, feel free to share it. Let us know. I have mixed feelings because I like this time slot personally.
It's good for us.
I don't know if it's the best because, of course, according to TikTok's analytics, actually this time is the least active time for my entire follower base. And it's not even close. And it's tough because I really love this time slot. It's like the perfect way to start my day. And it's like my favorite way to start the day, to wake up and get to work and whatever. But you are absolutely correct. This is not about me. This is about viewers and to make it, the best that it could be. And I have wanted to do a night show for a long time, but I don't know if that's the best way to do it, to just flip straight over, because according to my followers, the best time would be 4 p.m., which is also the single most inconvenient time I could possibly do an hour show. It's kids just got home from school.
Yeah.
I'm just having to make dinner. Christina is just finishing all of her work. Every dog has been sleeping all day and they're ready to go. It could not be worse than 4 p.m. But I don't know. I'm very tempted, and I think that Evan and I are getting pretty close to experimenting with doing a live stream at a couple different times without changing the show time yet, and just kind of seeing what the response goes. I think that's the next thing that we would have to do.
Yeah, we're going to do time slots, and we also talked about when we go live, we're going live from my profile. Alex is joining, and it like doesn't show up the same way for him. So we're thinking about, do you want to do it? We could do it tomorrow. If you want to host from your profile, you'll be able to find it the same way. But just, we're experimenting with metrics. We want to reach people with helpful information. That's the number one goal, is to tell a better story. Everyone else here on TikTok Live is, selling you a token. So we got to get out.
Yeah. Brian, we are recording on YouTube. Evan puts all of these on YouTube. And we are just about, I've been saying this for weeks, and I'm very excited to finally be like at the point where it's going to start. Cutting these things up into like some not very well edited for now, improving, but cutting them up into smaller clips. So like, the 10-minute segment where we just talk about what locked liquidity is, that'll be its own video. So you don't have to like scrub through a 2-hour long stream to find stuff. And it can be more dedicated and specific. So Evan and I are working on the newsletter. Like he said, that's the first thing, getting that up and running and being sent out and all that good stuff. And then short form content on YouTube. Especially if they end up actually going through with this whole, delete TikTok thing. We're gonna have to move anyway.
So that's why you need to sign up for the newsletter, because if they ban TikTok, we want to be able to reach you and tell you where we're going to go next. Okay,
So search Faceless Labs on YouTube. You will find it. We've got about 19 to 21 episodes of the podcast from last year and the year before. I don't remember exactly how many episodes, but those are some great ones. More evergreen content. We talked to our CPA about crypto taxes. We talked to a wealth manager about other ways to handle money if you strike it big. We talked to our lawyer about the legalities around different cryptos. We talked to a whole bunch of people. Some other content creators you've probably seen.
William Quigley, co-founder of Tether. Great conversation.
Yeah, I always
I think that's my most quoted conversation. We harken back to that one all the time.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's because he is the true OG. He founded the biggest crypto on the planet, bar none.
Not bad. Alex, I really do have to go. I'm so sorry. I've got to go get my head right. We're coming back. We'll be here at 7 a.m. Join us then, Central Standard Time. Get in the Discord, get on the newsletter. We love you. We'll miss you. Until next time, my friends, rise up.